We worship rock stars, idolize athletes, admire celebrities. But we believe the ones who truly deserve the standing ovation are the engineers, the dreamers and doers who toil quietly behind all the noise, reshaping the world we live in.
My feeling is, people who become engineers are not necessarily obsessed with the spotlight.
Engineering isn't entertaining.
Our picture is not in newspaper, we're not on TV. Say, hey, this is the guy who built this PDA.
Like the credits at the end of a movie that say, here's the engineer that designed the software that you're using or designed this computer that you're using. The credits aren't there.
But that's okay. You get satisfaction somewhat differently.
I think a lot of engineers are actually reasonably shy in that respect and do what they do, toil in their own office in front of their computer day in and day out, and that is happiness. My parents thought I wanted to be a doctor. I thought I wanted to be a carpenter.
I was one of the kids that took apart everything in the house. When I eventually tried to put it all back together and had frustration with that, I think I realized that that's what I wanted to do.
And what I realized was I had a burning desire to understand how things worked.
My father bought me some kits, which were these hardware kits for designing. I think one of the first ones was for making our own AM radio. And so I put them together and I made a little AM radio. And I said, this is great. I can take this box apart that looks like nothing and create music out of nowhere, right? And I thought that was really fascinating. And that got me started in engineering.
I took a class in logic design, and that was the moment of truth for me. Everything was black or white, 0 or 1.
And by the time I got done with the medical school training, I said, I really don't like this. I really do want to be a builder, a constructor of things.
If you really come up with something incredibly innovative, then you have changed the world.
The best engineers are innovators because they create these new solutions that didn't exist before.
And a lot of engineers feel like innovation is their job.
In the engineering, the design ranks, it's really, dreaming up something from nothing.
I think every time you solve a problem, you create something.
In the end, it's a good thing because that's what keeps the engineers employed, right? There's always a problem to be solved, and the pencil is never down.
This year it's one thing, next year it's going to be something else. Because if I'm not continually challenging myself, my career is over.
The product cycles are so fast. If you're not innovating every day, your company becomes irrelevant very quickly.
You cannot actually build a perfect thing because there's a time factor.
The engineers are actually involved in that trade-off between the right answer, the perfect answer, and the commercially appropriate answer.
Some of the uses of our products are way beyond what we would have ever thought we were designing them for.
So last year I went up to Seattle to meet with Lee Hartwell, a Nobel Prize recipient on cancer research. And I was talking to him about a product that would run things at 300 times faster than current products. I said, would that make an impact upon your research if you, instead of waiting 1 year for simulation, you can run it in a single day?
The inspiration for me comes from interacting with a group of people that are really passionate about solving the problem.
Especially when there's a crisis. It's incredible how rapidly a group of engineers can mobilize and assume roles that are complementary and productive together.
Developing a product together is a combination of individual tasks and heroics, and then group tasks and heroics.
But there's many big problems that take huge teams of people. It could be teams from tens of people, even to hundreds of people to solve the really big problems. And those are often the fun ones, right? Because the teams, you get some interaction, you get to work with other people, and so that becomes a fun challenge in itself.
I also think that the great engineers are those who can innovate and bring out the best in people around them. I'll tell you, the most exciting moment I've ever had as an engineer is when I walked into a room and saw 200, 300 of the computers that I was involved in designing on a wall with lights blinking, and I realized that 20 or 30 million people were at that moment accessing sessions over the internet through those systems.
And I was bleary-eyed coming back from a business trip, and I had my 2-wire logo on my shirt. And the security guard at the airport says, 2-wire, I love that product. And that was my little, Academy Award right there. That's what made me feel good.
Then you get to walk out in the mall and see some kid playing a Game Boy, or go to someone's house and they're playing Xbox, or a PC in the mall. I mean, you say, wow, I had a hand in that. I've touched the lives of millions. That's pretty cool.
There's a great feeling in being able to go someplace and say, see that? I did that.
Inventing and building products to enhance people's lives, live longer, have more fun, live better, that's just tremendous.
There are no groupies, no agents, no red carpets. There's only a problem to be solved. No one connects with the creators of technology like EE Times. For 30 years, we've provided insight and inspiration to the real movers and shakers, to engineers, the ones who truly rock the world.